Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by Zamst. Zamst reinforces and protects athletes by providing premium technical products in the form of athletic braces and supports derived from innovative materials, designs, and manufacturing processes for the ankle, knee, elbow, and more. Find out more about these high-quality products built to prevent injury, improve performance, and ultimately help you spend more time on the court at www.zamst.us. and use the code PBR to save 15%. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pickleball Recovery. I'm your host, Tim Ringgold. How you doing? Did you play any pickleball today? I did not. I am learning to back off. Oh my God, did you hear that? Yeah, it's true. No, seriously. Boundaries. I am learning boundaries, you guys. I'm learning to play less. Yeah, true story. Got to tell you, this first quarter, January, February, March, I've kind of been monkeying with my frequency, intensity, duration, which you've heard me talk about before. And in January, I went guns blazing, like morning cardio and then afternoon drilling. And I was probably drilling 3 days a week, playing rec 2 days a week. So I was on the court 5 days a week. And I was in my gym probably, 5 days a week, maybe at least 3 to 4 minimum, doing cardio. And, there was no amount of sleep or protein I could consume. My body was wrecked. So Dr. Jody Denise, who you've heard on here before, I've been working with her since I met her. And listen, if you live in Orange County, you do yourself a favor and get in her clinic. Just do that. I'm telling you, the results I've gotten with her have been phenomenal. So just do your body a favor. Go see her if you're in Orange County. But she kind of read me the riot act one day. She's like, all the work I'm doing on you, you're undoing faster. So you got to chill out. You're overdoing it. And I know for so many of us, that's just the issue, is we're just playing too much pickleball, TMP. We're just putting our body through it too much. And it's great fun. I know, I get it. But pickleball can also be addictive, the unquenchable thirst, unscratchable itch. And having to learn to not play has been hard for me, but I have learned to not play. And as a result, I feel better the rest of the week. And I play better when I'm actually on the court. I'm playing some of the best pickleball right now, and I feel in as good shape as I've felt. I physically, look and move as good as I have in memory. My brain's working better because of the specific rehab that I went through with Dr. Cooper and with Dr. Jody. And so sometimes less is more. So maybe you needed to hear that today. I don't know. Maybe you didn't. But I'm just telling you my journey. That's what this whole podcast is about, basically. So my journey. Thanks for coming along, along the ride. So today, we're going to have a fun conversation, me and Valerie Thompson, who is AKA the world's fastest female motorcycle racer. And I met Valerie on the tour, playing pickleball, in Arizona, in Mesa. I want to say it was the PPA, AZ Grand Slam, February-ish of 2022, going back. Someone introduced us. I think we both were on the podium that day playing singles. And I was like, this gal's cool. And super confident and super fun and super present, just very with you. When she's with you, she's with you. She's not looking over your shoulder or thinking about something else. And so we just kind of struck up a friendship, and we just would see each other on the podium on singles day a lot, or at tournaments. When I'll be honest, when I turned senior pro, I visited a lot less podiums. That was a little hit on my ego, but that's the way it goes. But we'd still see each other at tournaments. And then finally I was like, you probably have an amazing story, because how many people can say they are literally the world's fastest at anything? So then I got to know her story and I was just blown away. You know how like you meet people in pickle and you just don't really know much about them, frankly, because there they are, they're on the court and you might only know them by their first name, to be honest. And Valerie's got an amazing backstory and has made a phenomenal transition into amateur pickleball and is crushing it, and has quite the, I'd say trophy haul, but medal haul from what she's doing on the court these days. So I told her, I was like, let's get you on the podcast and let's talk about your mentality and your practice. How do you stay fast on the court, given you're as fast as they come on a bike? What are you doing? And so people can learn from you. So that's what this is about. Another journey with another awesome human in the pickleball world. Take notes. Success leaves clues. And if you want to have fun, and I think I say it in the interview, you should go to her website, ValerieThompsonRacing.com, and just watch the videos and see what a badass she is, because you'll just like, your head will explode. Okay. With that, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Pickleball Recovery.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited you're here. I raced over here to get to be on time for this interview. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, how quickly can I throw in a pun or a dad joke here? That was pretty quick, right? That was good.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great for us to connect in this platform. We basically met on the road as, touring, professional and amateur pickleball addicts who love ourselves a pickleball tournament, and just kind of made friends on the road. And I don't even know where home is. You don't know where home is for me, because the only place we've ever hung out is on the road at tournaments. So here we are in our home offices, finally, doing this. But I am so excited to interview you today, because people who know you in pickleball may think they know Valerie Thompson by this energetic, bubbly, fun, absolute beast of an athlete, always on the pedal, on the podium, grabbing a medal. What they don't know about you are all of your accolades as like world's fastest female motorcycle badass mamma jamma. And all I can say is, you guys, like, before you do anything else, you have to go to ValerieThompsonRacing.com and click on the videos page under media, go to videos and watch these videos, and your little brain's going to go pop, because Valerie,
my palms, my palms still get sweaty and when I watch my own videos.
Dude, well, that's appropriate. Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
Your world in racing is not like the weekend warrior world of racing. Like that boat that you told me was a car, which I thought was a rocket. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I'm the least handy guy you'll ever meet. But like, that is such a different universe for me. And I was just totally enthralled. I was late to this interview, literally, because I was too busy watching your videos. So you got to just brag on yourself real quick. I'm going to make you do it, but you got to tell everybody, like, who is Valerie Thompson in the racing world? How'd you get into that? What were your, kind of your podium moments in racing before we get into pickle? Because this is such a cool backstory.
Thank you. Well, so it's taken me 20 years, but I am the world's fastest female on two wheels and a motorcycle streamliner at 328 miles per hour. And I'm probably the world's fastest female or person that has crashed on two wheels that has survived a 363 mile per hour crash as well. So
what? Wow.
On the crash side, I mean, that's a bottle of wine in another hour we could talk about, but in a nutshell, of things, I had a team that consisted of 16 people, give or take. the best team I ever had. And they built the motorcycle streamliner. They designed it for safety and speed. So given that I crashed at 363 miles per hour, and I get to live and talk about it, here I am. I always say I have a front row seat to history, and it's a one in a lifetime opportunity, because you don't get that many opportunities ever to crash at 363 miles per hour. But, I said to myself, is like, after I got into the pickleball world, originally I traded my high heels for wheels. And now I say I traded my high heels and wheels for pickleball wheels.
Oh my gosh.
Because you got to be fast on the court, right? I need wheels on the court.
Yes. But I can only imagine, like, after surviving a crash at 360 plus miles per hour, like, that puts you in a very elite world of like people, like, just, and in terms of life experience, literally walking away from something like that permanently keeps everything else in some sort of perspective. It just has to.
It does. It's, I'm thankful to be here. I had a close friend that also passed away in a crash, and she didn't make it. So, I think about her all the time, and I wish she was here, but, I got lucky, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can you just give us a little backstory? Like, how did you find yourself strapped to a rocket going multiple hundreds of miles per hour in a straight line in the desert? Like, where did that start?
Well, it really started, when I started racing a motorcycle, let me just back up. When I started riding a motorcycle, and I've been riding motorcycles since the year 1999. So I was always being pushed in the back, and I was always that person who wanted to be up front and kind of be the leader. I wanted to be the leader of the pack, but there were so many great riders that I rode with, and if it wasn't for them bringing me out of my comfort zone, I wouldn't be here where I am at today. So thank God I had good friends that, finally let me be up front. And when I finally got to be up front and enjoy the scenery up front, we would be racing down Scottsdale Road. And it was a friend of mine that said, Valerie, you're out of control. Take it to the track, or I'm not going to work on your bike anymore, because my bike was, I had the engine work done, and, it was a street bike. It's a Harley Davidson Fat Boy. And I still have that bike till this day, and I still ride it. So anyways, a couple months later, some friends, we all went to the racetrack, and I fell in love with the racetrack, and I never left. So I started racing down Scottsdale Road. Then I took it to the drag strip. And so I used to be a former drag racer. So I don't know if you all watched the NHRA, National Hot Rod Association, but I had a short stint into that, in that territory. But I really started out with the All Harley Drag Race Association, which is, the Harley Davidson's drag racing association. We would travel to 14 different states. I would drive my truck and trailer to all over the United States and set up and do appearances, sign autographs, and, go race my heart out, and, go back, check into the hotel and do it again.
Amazing. What a fun
ride. So
I
know what it feels like living life on the road. And I will tell you, it's quite lonely on the road. So a friend of mine said, you should get a dog. And I did. I got a dog, and his name was Reckon, and I brought him to the racetrack. And it was the greatest thing, because it gave me a chance. I couldn't have a relationship, and a boyfriend, girlfriend. I couldn't have a relationship. So I had a relationship with my dog, and he was a very special dog. So
nice.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
So you're doing Harleys, you're riding on that kind of circuit. And then you're like, this is fun, but I want to go faster.
Yeah.
That was literally it, wasn't it? So
you know, it
how do you
truly
bridge the
was.
gap? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I had a little bit of a setback. I've had many setbacks in my racing career, and I've had setbacks where I've actually thought I was throwing in the towel. Actually, it's called not throwing in the towel. It's called kind of throwing in your helmet.
Okay.
And so kind of threw in my helmet and said, I'm done. I don't know what the next adventure is, but I'll find it. But a friend of mine said, Valerie, get those helmets back on your pedestal and get out there and get racing. Don't give up. And it was at the part of, during the span of, losing all my sponsors due to the economy when it crashed in 2009. That's when I had the major setback. That was my hugest setback. So in 2010, I bounced back. I got me a sponsor. I bought me a BMW S1000RR sport bike. And that's where my life changed. And that's where I was born to do what I was doing. God made me for speed.
That's so awesome. It's so good. Isn't it great when you just I have a phrase. So I do a lot of speaking on stage as a speaker. And I remember doing, going to a Tony Robbins event called Unleash the Power Within, or UPW, where you literally walk on hot coals as a part of the 4-day event.
Yeah.
And part of that was to kind of come up with a go-to phrase for yourself that puts you in your peak state. And I realized that I was built for this. Yeah. That was my phrase. I am built for this. I just knew, I don't have to do anything. I'm just being myself, it comes naturally. It's why I'm here. I am here to open my mouth, and what comes out helps others. That's it. Right. And so when you're built for something, go do it. Right. Find a way, find a platform. And that's what it sounds like you were able to do. So then take me from the BMW take me from your BMW to that 44-foot monstrosity. What is that thing that people will see a video of and they'll be like, that's a rocket ship. It's just pointed sideways.
So I went from the BMW to race the motorcycle streamliner. So we can't forget that, because that's what I did the 328 miles per hour on. But the motorcycle streamliner bike is 25 feet long. It's a 3000 cc with 500 horsepower approximately. And so when I crashed, I was left without no wheels. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And in racing, if you crash, you've got to get back on the bike or car. You've got to get in it and you got to do it again, as quick as you can. So the opportunity came. I was offered a ride to race in a streamliner car, which the streamliner car is 43 feet long. And the pickleball court, just so you get a good reference, is 44 feet long. At the time, the car has two Dodge Hemi engines. It weighs 6,000 pounds. It has about 5,000 horsepower. I sit all the way back in the rear, so I have to manhandle literally probably, I have to handle 9,000 pounds. And if you do see on the video on my website, the car porpoised. So it was lifting up and down on the racetrack. And in this vehicle, I have no suspension. So I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought it was just the suspension. And, it was really hard because there's so many seconds in between it, milliseconds, I would say, in between every porpoise. And finally, I was up to 290 something miles per hour, and both engines just died. And what happened was I killed both engines. But I don't mean to laugh about it, but it's, the engines were toast. And we were testing to get ready to go and have everything shipped to Australia so we could, do the flat out 417 mile per hour record, which that's the record. It is no longer 417 miles per hour. I think it's 476, something like that. But so the team had to really go through the entire engines and everything else to get it right.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And
Yeah.
so then there you are racing these super fast vehicles. Where does pickleball cross your path in that journey? Because they're such worlds apart.
Well, I've always been trying to find my next adventure away from racing, and I did fall in love with pickleball. What happened was I was looking for a fitness regimen. I really get really bored on the treadmill or on the stair stepper or any of that type of. I was working out with a trainer, and I just hated all those stationary vehicles, I'll call them, because it didn't go very fast. And my legs wouldn't go that fast. So I had been playing a little bit of tennis, with my friends, and then the heat started to come to 110 degrees here in Arizona, and it was just too hot to play tennis. And there's a lot of ground to cover in playing tennis. So we stopped. And then the following year, that was, late, that was, during the summertime. And then here comes January of 2021. And a friend said, "Hey, we're going to go play pickleball. Do you want to learn? Do you want to play pickleball?" I go, "Oh, what is pickleball?" Okay, I'm from Washington State, Tacoma, Seattle, Washington. Pickleball was started in Bainbridge Island. I forgot about pickleball back in those days. So I started playing pickleball, and I wasn't very good, but I knew I would have the talent for it. I knew that I could be really good. I knew that my mind was sharp, my feet were fast, but it just wasn't fast enough. But my hands weren't fast. So around after the 8th time of playing pickleball with my friends, I wasn't getting a text to say, "Hey, you want to come play? Hey, you want to come play?" So I took it a little personal. So I said, "Well, I'm going to go get my own pickleball court. I'm going to put it in the backyard. I have somebody, put it in. I'm going to get me a coach. I'm going to play in tournaments, and I'm going to be really good." I did it just like that.
Amazing.
So,
I love it. That's the way to just make something happen. Just take charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ghosted by her first friends. Whew. That'll fuel your motivation right there.
Well, it sure put ice in my veins, because I was like bound and determined I was going to be really good.
Oh yeah.
I was just, I had a focus, I had a goal, and it was all about when I listened to my friends saying I'm racing, I'm out of control, which really made me feel really a little insecure. It made me feel, oh gosh, that was a jab in front of, 5-10 people that he said it in front of. I was highly embarrassed, but I was, disappointed in myself that I wasn't good enough for pickleball. When you're an athlete and you're in racing and you're at the top of your level, you're at the top. You're like Annalie Waters. She's at the top. Ben Johns. Okay. So I'm like that into my racing, and reaching the highest level that you can race in your race division. So, when you're the best, not the best, but when you're up there, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking fast forward, and I just wanted to be the best at everything I do.
I love it. I love it.
So pickleball is truly my superpower, and riding and racing is actually my throttle therapy. So
throttle therapy. Listen, that makes total sense to me immediately, because I know, many people listening to this have definitely, let's just say, blown off some steam behind the wheel. Whether that was the most responsible thing to do, given the situation where they were, we'll leave that alone. But we all know we've gotten behind the wheel in a mood and, put our foot on the gas and felt better. So throttle therapy. You heard it here first.
Throttle therapy.
So good.
And I will tell you that there is so much in common after I started playing, after I really got into it.
Yep.
Racing and pickleball, they really, truly, on the back end of things, they go hand in hand. I
Really?
know now, yes. You know, I have a list, but I could go on and on, but
Yeah, do so.
it's,
Tell me some of the
just,
things that are connected, and where's that Venn diagram
well,
between racing and pickleball?
well, when you're under stress, it's managing your pressure. It's high speed, it's fast. There's fans, there's rules. There's a throttle. You got to be smooth and finesse the throttle. You can't death grip the throttle. Well, in pickleball, you got to paddle. You got to be smooth. You don't want to death grip your paddle. Racing, there's no room for errors. In pickleball, there are room for errors. You got weather conditions. The other thing is that my race vehicle, the motorcycle streamliner, was made out of, the whole entire shell was made out of carbon fiber, honeycomb, Kevlar, and composite fiberglass. So look at your paddles. What do we have in our paddles? So the trajectory of the ball. Well, okay, we have coefficient drag in our vehicle. So there's just a lot.
Yeah.
You got your mindset, your mental toughness. There's the dedication, the support, the training. You got sponsorship, being an ambassador. I've been in the sponsorship world of seeking my own sponsors for 20 years. So I know what it takes to hold the paddle with your sponsor, when my helmet goes down, my face shield goes down, I can be whoever I want to be. Well, when when I have my paddle in my hand, it's high octane and it's let's go. Let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's be honest. There's a reason why people put their paddle behind their medal, right? When they're on the podium, and myself included, I totally can relate to that. I think one interesting analogy, because I use it regularly, is the vehicle. So for you, the vehicle, like when I was watching that video, there's a whole team of guys that are working on that vehicle, right? It takes a team. And for me, my body is the vehicle in pickleball. Like I have to generate,
absolutely,
the speed and the movement through time and space,
the
power, all of it. That's like coming out of my, organic body. And then I have to make decisions, there's the driver. And this is so cool because a long time ago, I released a product for new professionals, and it had two, part one, part two. Part one was on mindset, and that was the driver. And part two was like skill set, and that was the vehicle. And this has always made sense to me, that you have these two pieces that have to work in harmony in order to produce the outcome you're trying to produce. And for me in pickleball, the vehicle that's the whole reason of the podcast, is that, it would be like, hey, I want to drive a car, but like, I don't have a car. B, I don't have anyone to work on it. Like, I imagine as the driver in your racing world, you're probably the one they don't want wrenching the engine. You're driving the engine.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like somebody else is like, we're going to maximize this vehicle. So now that you're both the car and driver in pickleball, what have you started to notice about your machine, your vehicle? How are you taking care of your body so that you can continue to play tournaments and continue to podium?
Well, it's so important for preparation, like even for racing. The preparation to race a vehicle is a year's worth of preparation. there's a lot that goes into the preparation for racing, but the preparation for a tournament or just for play, and I play too much. I play almost just about every single day, a couple of times. I mean, I have my own court, and it's hard to say no, but I know it's not good for me. But the preparation for taking care of my body, because I am over 55. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of dedication and commitment to keeping your body fit and trim. So I do weight training. I do, the cold plunges, the infrared saunas or the infrared. I do, the vitamins, I do the supplements. I try to intake so much protein to feed the muscles.
Let's
Did
go.
you see that?
Oh yeah. I saw those guns. Ma'am, you have an open carry law in Arizona. You're allowed to walk around with those. You live in Scottsdale.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
One of my favorite phrases is "Sun's out, guns out."
Yeah. Sun's out, guns out. Yeah. Gotcha. I like that.
Yeah, that's you. That's you on the court, because you like to wear like the tank top, so that you can show off those guns. Yeah. So now I see you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that my guns are coming through.
Yeah, no, I love you. I love that you're highlighting a lot of things that we talk about on the podcast. And it's important for people to realize that success leaves clues. And so it's like, these are the best practices. Anyone who is in this good shape at this age, podiuming, it's not a fluke. They didn't just wake up that morning and just decide, oh, I'm just going to be good today. A lot goes into it. So tell me, like on a typical day or a typical week when you're home, since you're playing every day, how many hours a day do you find yourself playing?
I'd say 4 to 6 hours, but I do feed my body with food in between all of that.
That's amazing.
I drill a lot, and I still take lessons. And then I use my play time, which I don't go to a lot of rec play. I don't go to the public parks very often. I would like to, just so I could, say, hey, Liz, look at me now. You remember me when I was hitting the balls out. You remember
how you like me now,
popping the balls up. How do you like me now? But, it's just fun to watch. It's fun to have people watch you grow and be supportive. And, in pickleball, the communication and the support is so important. And, you can't do it without support. So either with your partner or just people recognizing, hey, I haven't seen you in a year. Where have you been?
Totally. So let me drill down a little further about the different things you like to use. So you mentioned that you like to do a cold plunge. How often do you find yourself doing a cold plunge?
Well, when it's really cold out in the wintertime here, I get to use my own pool. So I get to go back there at night, just at any time, at least because the pool is so cold. But, I do have a facility that I used to use really actively. And I used to do all of it right at the same time. So they had the infrared sauna, they had the cold plunge, they had the leg compressions, and all of that. So it was just one facility that had all that. So it's not easy to get there all the time. So I use my own pool, and, I used to do the hyperbaric oxygen, the oxygen tank. I used to do that. Well, I use that one for my racing a lot more, more than I do my pickleball, because it's hard to be detuned and go into a bubble, into a glass jar.
Yes. Yes. It's a big time commitment.
And sit there for an hour. It's a huge commitment. I also do like IVs. I do NAD IV drips, and, I'm there for 4 hours, and that's a commitment.
Yep.
I can only use one hand when I can go through my messages or my emails. And then I'm worried about my other hand, because it's like, oh, there are needles stuck in there. So I also do that.
What was the facility that you were doing all this? Were you doing the NAD at the same places you were doing the cryo or the cold plunge and the?
No,
Okay, two different places.
two different places. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yep.
when you go, what was the place you would go to do the infrared and the cold plunges and the compression boots?
I knew you were going to ask me that off the top of my head. I forgot their name.
That's
but
okay.
I can look at my phone.
That's all right. That's okay. And then when you go, what have you noticed with NAD? So just for everybody to back up with this. I'm kind of, I just did some NAD before my last two tournaments for mental clarity and just kind of calm the brain. But it's also good for inflammation, good for recovery. It's good for your sleep. There's all kind of benefits for NAD. What have you noticed when you've done NAD? Have you been able to perceive any difference? Because for some people it's like dramatic and for some people it's very subtle. What have you noticed?
Well, I'm always wanting to do things once and twice. So if the first time I don't like it, I got to do it again just to make sure I really don't like it. But I really do enjoy the NAD. I do feel, at first I didn't feel a difference, but I'm on my 6th treatment, 7th treatment next week. So, I do feel the mental clarity because I'm really big with that. I do feel the recovery of my body. I mean, I don't feel like as much as I play, and which I play too much, I do feel people are like, gosh, how do you keep going? How do you keep it going? And it's like, I mean, all the things that I do, for the performance to uphold my performance, I think it's, that's what I just feel like I have to do that. I always said in my racing, what drives me for for all of this. And I always said my performance has to match the performance of my streamliner. They all go hand in hand and everything is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
My motorcycle is my real athlete and, I provide the courage, my morning workouts, the time, the motivation, the repetition, trusting the process with my meal preps and pushing myself. All matter, and we got to take care of our body. We just have to. We have to listen to it first, but we also have to do things to prevent. And so I feel the IVs and all the other things are a preventive.
Yeah, for sure.
Along with, some supplements that I like and I enjoy. And I'm all over the board of supplements. So
tell me about some supplements. Tell me about your journey with supplements. What have you found that you're enjoying or that you're benefiting from?
Yeah, well, I do feel, I really like Jigsaw's Brain Boost.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy that.
Shout out to Patrick and Ashley.
Yeah, thank you. I do enjoy those types of formats. There's Feel Free that I take. It's I don't know, it's got some I don't know, weird, I can't remember the names of what it has in it, but
that's okay.
It's Botanic Feel Free.
Okay.
And it just helps my relaxation and my focus as well. Anything I can do to enhance my focus because I am all over the board. I'm busy at doing 3 things at one time. And in pickleball and in racing, it's one shot, one thing at a time. I shift first gear, I shift second gear. I do everything one at a time. In pickleball, it's really one at a time. I mean, people don't realize, in talking about pickleball, it's like, oh yeah, I do this and this and this and this. No, you do one thing at a time. You get your feet right. You get your paddle. It's like, there is a process. Oh my gosh. I love mixed doubles, but my true jam is really singles.
Yeah.
I love singles. Yeah. And I don't know if I can share this with you, but the podcast won't come out until for a little bit. So I was just recently emailed from Duper, from the director of marketing, and he said that I was recognized as the top 5 player with the most record single matches on Duper.
Wow.
So they're going to do an interview, a social media interview, with all of that, and I have to
Awesome.
provide some, questions. I have to provide some answers, and but I don't know if that's a good thing because, I'm learning my way through this journey, and so singles, singles mentally. I could play like a 4-0 and I go to the tournament and I can play like a 3-2, a 3.2 player. Mentally, my focus has gotten so much better, but, I probably have a lot more losses in my journey of singles, but don't look at my track record because it doesn't speak how I play at home.
That is okay. I've never once checked out your standings, and I'll share a story with you. I just came back from the NPL Combine. So NPL is the National Pickleball League. So it's like the senior pro team league. And so I went to try.
One day I want to be there.
Come on, you should try out. So I went and tried out, and it was over 2 days. Well, it was 3 days. There was a warm-up day where the owners were there and they were scouting on that day. So it was really 3 days, but it was a 2-day round robin. And all the owners are watching all the players, and all the players are thinking about their score and thinking about their won-loss record. Now, on Saturday, I went 5-2, and which was good for this group. I got into the finals, like the championship bracket for Sunday. The top 2 guys out of 64 get an automatic berth to the draft. Sunday, I go 2-5.
Oh.
Total opposite, right?
Yeah.
But one of the owners comes up to me on Sunday and says, "You're playing amazing today. Your third shots are phenomenal today compared to yesterday. What happened?" Now, in my head, I'm totally attached to the outcome, the score, and the standings. He's not looking at that at all. He's just watching the process. And he saw improvement in the process, even though I saw the opposite of improvement in the results. And I just thought, isn't that fascinating about pickleball, where on one day you can play well and lose, on another day you can play poorly and win. And, at the end of the day, it's like, which would you rather? And I think sometimes we get so attached to results, but results, as soon as you achieve it, you lose it. It's gone, right? But the process, who you become along the way, you take with you, right? Whether you're a driver, whether you're an athlete, a driver is an athlete, but whether you're a pickleballer is what I meant to say. And so the process that you're going through in singles, by logging all of those, you're learning so much about yourself and about that game, right? Because singles is a different game. And I can, after getting to interview you and hearing your backstory, as you call it, a driver, I think you're a pilot person. Because I still think
actually I am a pilot, but I didn't want to speak because we do talk about being the pilot for the vehicle. So in order, sometimes you have to craft your words a little different when you're different audiences. So
there you go.
You're right. I am the pilot.
Totally. And I can see that works really well with singles, because you have to depend on you 100% of the time. It's solitary. It's
so lonely out there.
It's so lonely out there. Oh my God. All the eyes are on you. And there's, it's a very different game, very mentally and physically and tactically and strategy. And so now I can see why you excel at singles, in terms of why you love it so much.
True to that. Yes. And like the self-talk that we give ourselves. It's
Have to.
so important when you're out there. It you can't talk to anybody. You're just there.
Yeah, you're just there. It's
Just
true.
there.
It's true. So we talked about in terms of recovery, you talked about meal prep. And I want to just touch
Hmm.
on how do you, because you play a lot of tournaments, and how do
Yes.
you keep your energy? Like you play 4 to 6 hours a day when you're at home, you're playing tons of tournaments.
Hmm.
Just walk me through like a typical day at home, how you fuel, ha ha ha, and then a typical tournament day, how do you fuel,
Yeah.
and what's working, and what are your favorite practices?
Well, it's protein is so important for us women. So first thing I do is I drink a cup of egg whites
Wow.
for protein. Yeah, it's not the prettiest and the funnest when it goes down, but you drink some water and you drink the protein. Um, I do drink coffee I do have coffee in me in order to get to some of yeah, I do. But the eating is so important for me, and I eat a lot. I just eat. When I was at the last tournament at the Mesa Cup, the security guy that sat down in the chair, he said, "Geez, you eat a lot." And then the guy, what's his, Bruce, that takes photos. He captured 3 photos of me eating, but cut to. So the eating is really important. It really fuels my energy. Drinking a lot of electrolytes. I like the electrolyte, the LMYT or something like that.
LMNT.
I really
Yep.
enjoy. Yeah, yeah, I like that. And I'm known to have everything and anything in my little lunch bag. It's called a
Mm.
6-pack, even though I don't have a 6-pack, but I'm working on it. Um, I've helped so many other even players at the pickleball court when they needed fuel and energy, and I'm like, here you go, here. So if anybody has heard or has shopped on this website called thefeed.com, they have everything that you can imagine for athletes that are runners. They really specialize in runners. And I have shopped there a lot, but it's thefeed.com
Like
and
FEED.
EED, yeah,
Yeah. All right. I'm writing
.com.
it down right now. That's a
And
great shout.
you will see so many like, oh yeah, I know that bar. Oh yeah, I seen that bar at the store. Oh no, I see it at the feed and then I see it at the stores.
That makes sense. That's a great resource. That is awesome.
But
Well, listen.
I also have this app. It's called Yucca,
Yes.
Yuka. It's an app. And
Yep.
so when I'm at Whole Foods or I'm at Trader Joe's, I am using the scan. And so
Nice.
when I see something that is 6 out of 100, it goes back. If I see something 30 out of 100, it goes back.
Yes.
The only thing that I have had was this special bread, and it comes in the frozen section, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's 100 out of 100. It is, it's
So
like,
good.
wow,
Yeah.
it was so good.
That's so great. My
It's so bland, but
chiropractor
it's
was
so good for
just
you.
telling me about that app yesterday for like the 30th
Yeah.
time. Because anything you put on you or in you either strengthens you or weakens you. And
True.
that app gives a rating to whether or not this product is going to strengthen you or weaken you, whether it's a healthy product or it's crap, basically.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
quick summary. There's a
Yeah.
similar but different app called Think Dirty, which is kind of funny. I think it's called Think Dirty. And it does a very similar thing where it gives a score to something as to how clean
I'm
it
writing
is.
this down.
Yeah, for you. But Yucca is just yesterday we were having this conversation because we were measuring different products that I'm using to see which ones are right fit for my body and whether they're, crap.
And what I like about it too is that it gives you a suggestion for the better bar.
Nice.
It could be 70 out of 100. Well, that's the one you want. It kind of really depends on what you're going for too.
Sure.
As well. And, I also buy like my food prep as we were talking about food prep, I go to this place called here locally on Scottsdale Road. It's called DS Nutrition, and they have lots of nutritional things, including food. So I buy their food at DS Nutrition for, because one meal takes me like a lunch and a dinner.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I used to do my own meal prep, but it's off Scottsdale and kind of like Mayo area.
Okay. Yeah.
It's called DS Nutrition. Yeah.
They
have everything
I know that neighborhood well because my mom lives in Greyhawk right off of Thompson Peak in Scottsdale. So she's just
right across from I believe it's the Porsche dealership here in Scottsdale.
There's a Whole Foods right over there. Whole Paycheck.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I go to. I make a little roundabout.
There's a Restore, I think, in there as well.
Yes, that's another place where I used to go to and do the cryo, the 3-minute cryo.
Yep.
When I had elbow tendonitis, I was going there for the cold, the cryotherapy, and they also did direct cryotherapy on my elbow, and I did PRP injections in my elbow. I'm like all over the board with. Not all over the board, but
you're pulling out all the stops.
What's going to make me get back? Yes. Yeah.
Yes. That's
and
it.
You know what? The most important thing in my preparation for pickleball is painting my fingernails gold. That's for my gold medals. I also have my toes painted gold. So that's the number one thing you have to do. So come on, let's go.
That is what I need to do for the next tournament is I need some pink toes, or not pink toes, some gold toes. You're right. That's all right. So listen, how do people follow you online?
That was my dog. So I'm online. I do use social media, even though I took a nice break to clear up my mental aspect of things, because I was finding that, the social media was being a job for me. And it was really hard for my racing fans to follow me in my pickleball journey. And they're like, do you see what Valerie is doing? She's playing pickleball. So now that they know about pickleball and now that they understand pickleball, how it's the world's fastest growing sport, well, I go hand in hand. The world's fastest female, the world's fastest sport. So you can catch me on Instagram, Valerie Racing, or first you can go to my website, ValerieThompsonRacing.com, and I have all the click buttons to Instagram, Facebook. And I don't use Twitter too often, but
me neither.
Oops.
No. Yeah. It's
Twitter's not very pickleball friendly, so I don't go there.
pick your platforms, and don't lose.
I can only handle 2.
Yeah,
but I will return to social media, and I will be back. So I had to take a break.
Nice. That's healthy. That was a smart decision. I always affirm anybody who takes a break from social media. There is never a bad reason to take a break from social media. So it's like,
it felt like the whole weight off my shoulders. It was like a weight off my shoulders. I don't have to come up in the morning and think about what I want to post or come up and create something. Now it's like, I can just live my life in the fast lane and live my life on the pickleball court.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. The post that I just, the recap of the NPL Combine, literally the first thing I typed and then I erased it was, sorry that I don't post more, but I'm too busy living life to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sit here and constantly broadcast my life because I'm just too busy living it. And yet I recognize, if you're going to be a forward facing, persona, then content, there's an amount of content, which, hey, look, we're on a podcast right now. Look at that. So, yeah. So I try to be a producer of some content. I try not to consume too much content. And I feel bad about that sometimes because people will say to me, well, I posted on blah, 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 all about it when they tell me about something that I didn't know happened. And I'll be like, well, as an act of self-care, I don't scroll on my Instagram, and I've uninstalled Facebook off of my phone. I still have my Facebook on my computer, and my Instagram posts over to Facebook automatically.
Yeah. So that way you don't get like lost in the world of
I got lost
social
today.
media.
Yeah, I got lost today. Just, it's just too distracting for me. So it's a battle. It's a battle. So, but listen, I just want to say it is so great to spend time with you. It's been so much fun hanging out with you on the road. You are a light of just fun energy. It's always nice to see your smile, and it's always nice to see you up on the podium. So look forward to seeing you again on the road. And thanks again for joining us on Pickleball Recovery.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Thanks so much for listening. Did you know there's one place on the web for all your recovery needs? It's at www.pickleballrecovery.com. You'll find all the products I personally use and recommend, along with exclusive discounts on many of them, as well as my blog where I help you make sense out of all the different products and practices out there to keep you moving and feeling better so you play better. After all, your body is the most expensive piece of equipment you own. Also, do you want to know the number one mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.